It's still Good Morning Abuja, your favorite breakfast show. Welcome back. Thank you so much, Semayi, for that Vox Pop, people's views and opinions on what domestic violence is, how survivors can move ahead, you know, pack the pieces of your life and move ahead. We saw all of that. Now, to do justice to this topic, domestic violence, we have Dr. Aisha Adaviruku. She is founder, CEO, master coaching and mentoring, and she's right here in the studio to talk more on domestic violence. Welcome to the studio, ma.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you. I love the colors you're wearing.
Thank you.
All right, so let's begin. There was a vox pop just before this conversation, and Semayi was on the streets. She sought to find out what people's opinions and views are. But as a professional, tell us exactly what domestic violence is.
Domestic violence is a pattern of abuse
Okay.
in an intimate relationship. So intimate relationship, it could be that they're not married, but they are either maybe in an intimate relationship, living together, or just, you know, having a relationship,
Okay.
or a family setting. So when we talk about family setting, the violence could be from the man to the woman, or man to children, or woman to man, or, you know, so it could be, you know, in any dimension.
Okay.
The aim of the abuser is to exert control over the victim.
Okay. I was going to ask for types, but I've seen that you've already categorized it. So it means anybody can be abused.
Yes, anybody can be a victim. It could be the man in the relationship or the marriage. It could be the woman. It could be the children, and it could even be the you know, house help in the home.
In the home.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So are there ways, because most of the times you want to protect your loved ones from a lot of things. Are there ways I can see, are there things I can pick out to know that, oh, my loved one is being abused, or this girl that stays with me, it seems something is happening that I'm not aware of? Are there ways, are there little things I can see to know?
Yes, there are signs that can actually show that individuals are passing through domestic violence.
Okay.
Because domestic violence, we have to know in ways it manifests, right? So that we can understand when people are actually going through it. If we pay attention, it manifests in physical abuse.
Okay.
So the abuser would hit the victim. It could be just using the hands, or it could be inflicting injury using sharp objects. If you notice, you know, sometimes on social media you would see that some victims are shown on video with marks on their bodies. Yes. So that's one form of domestic abuse. Another form is psychological. So when it's psychological, the abuser would verbally insult, emotionally gaslight the victim. Then we have financial. The financial abuse is where the abuser would seek to control how the victim spends their money, or even blocks their access to ways of earning money, like you must not go out of the house today, you know, those sorts of orders. It could be coming from the man, sometimes hiding even the car keys when the abuser knows that that's your only means to get to work. Is part of financial abuse, because they're seeking to
cripple you.
Yes, cripple you. Then we have cyber stalking. Okay. Cyber stalking is whereby an individual, you know, follows you up online, sends you messages with unknown numbers and all of that. And so these are some forms of abuse. So how can you know when somebody is passing through?
Yes.
You know, if it's physical abuse, you would see the individual always has one form of injury or the other, with stories that don't match up
with the
injury. So somebody says somebody has a tear on their forehead and they will say they fell, or they will tell you stories of always walking into doors right? If it's financial abuse, the individual, in spite of earning good money, they will not be able to tell their loved ones. You would see that the money is not showing, right? So that means it's going somewhere, right? Somebody is actually fleecing them of their hard-earned money. If it's cyber stalking, individuals may feel afraid to go online. So if you're having conversations with people and they mention things that has to do with fear of maybe going online or things, you know that most likely they are experiencing cyber stalking. Then psychological abuse. If you see an individual that always seems to be lost in their own world, and they have this sad physiology, they're always, they look sad, or they look anxious, or they are always startled when you speak to them, then you know that, okay, this person is likely going through psychological and emotional abuse. So those are some of the signs that you can use to, know that maybe someone is passing through one form of domestic violence or the other.
And then, there's this thing in Africa, you always want to protect your family. So whatever happens in the family kinds of stays in the family. So sometimes you know that, oh, my sister is going through some domestic violence, but you cannot reach out to her because each time you try to reach out, she's shielding the man, she's trying to shield her home. What should victims do, and how can we reach out to loved ones that are being that are going through domestic violence?
Okay, so we have a culture of silence. That culture of silence, with discussions like this in the media, and also with awareness being raised on social media, more and more victims are coming forward to actually share their experiences and seek help. Okay. Recently in Edo State, there was a lady that her husband injured her and she had to be hospitalized, and I commend the Edo State First Lady for actually going to visit her at the hospital. Okay. And encouraging, she was asking the mother who was there that, don't you know that your daughter was passing through this? And she was like, she doesn't know. So, and that's not the first time that the man did that, and he went to that extent of fatally injuring her. If not that, she had access to medical care. She was lucky. There are others that are not so lucky, and they lost their lives in the process of trying to keep,
their homes.
Not only keep their homes, but keep the abuse away from people who can help them.
Yes.
So there is this thing in some families, or where there is stigma around divorce. So people are trying at all costs to keep their marriage, even at the risk of their lives and at the risk of their mental health. Because there are individuals, it is when, they just start displaying mental health challenges, like talking to themselves, or, just becoming deranged, that people realize, oh, this person is actually passing through this. And it cuts across all social stratas. Okay. There are very wealthy women, very well employed, who are passing through domestic violence, and they don't speak out because they're trying to keep that image at all costs. So what we can do is we need to speak up, and we need forums like this to sanitize individuals of available resources, like going to human rights, seeking help of NGOs that are focused on the rights of victims. And of course, victims are not only women. We have men who are victims of domestic violence. We have children. We have helps who are victims. But the percentage, when we look at the majority, women are the majority when it comes to victims of domestic violence.
This is a very broad and interesting topic as it affects us all. But I'm being told that we need to round up this session. And I am enjoying the topic because a lot of people are going through this and there's no help, or rather they do not know where to seek for help. Well, I'm glad that you mentioned a few places that they could go and seek for help. Thank you so much, Dr. Aisha Adaviruku, for coming on Good Morning Abuja and giving us all of the insights you gave us. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right, that was our conversation with Dr. Aisha Adaviruku on domestic violence. Please, if you need help, if you need to be reached out to, I think you should speak up so that we don't have fatal incidences. Now, Good Morning Abuja continues after this time out. Please stay with us on the Unity Station, NTA Channel 5 Abuja.